Good evening, it is Friday the 6th of December. It's just coming up to 7 o'clock and I'm just about to head off out. So I've come out a little bit later because the last two Fridays I was coming out around 5-6 o'clock and it just seemed to be really quiet, and then it seemed to like pick up a little bit better around 7. So I thought I'd just come out for about 7, might as well just stay at home, do something else. So yeah, just about to head out. Looked on the app, and I mean, I don't believe they're surging, but it looks like the whole of the northwest is surging. So yeah, be interesting to see what happens. Other than that, quick little update on when a passenger was sick in the vehicle on Saturday night. Kind of went round in circles with Uber, which is standard for Uber, trying to get some of my money back. So basically, I picked a passenger up on Saturday night. It was 7 minutes to midnight. So this is how pedantic and how Uber try to get out of things. So I picked them up at 7 minutes to midnight. I dropped them off at about midnight, obviously the Sunday. So you then try, the passenger's sick, you then try and report them by making a claim, but you can't make a claim until you have the receipt from when you've obviously had it validated, so you can't make a claim. So basically on Uber's page in terms it says you need to make the claim within 3 days. So I was like, okay, yeah, not to worry, because I've been through the process before. So anyway, I messaged the guy who I always use. He couldn't come out on Sunday unfortunately, but he came out on Monday. Cleaned it. He then sent me the invoice on the Tuesday and I uploaded it to Uber straight away. It's gone round and round in circles since Wednesday night now, and it's only just been resolved this morning. So, you know, it's like a good 2 days it was going back and forth. 2 days it was going back and forth. So initially they start off with the usual, oh yeah, you know, we're here for you and all the rest of it. We all know they're not. They can't stand the drivers. They're there just for the passengers. They were even asking me things like, oh yeah, you've said that the passenger fell out of the car. Is the passenger okay? I was like, I couldn't care less about the passenger. The passenger just basically threw up in my car. He's put me off the road. I've had to pay for it to be validated. I want my money back. So in the end, they came back because they said, yeah, we're looking into it. Don't worry, this is a top priority and all the other crap. And they come back and say, yeah, you didn't report it within three calendar days. So they've changed it from 3 days to 3 calendar days now. So yeah, so we can't help you. So I was like, what? So I was like, he's threw up on the Sunday morning, so okay, they're classing that as a because I seen it as 3 days, you know, as in like what, 72 hours from when it happened. So if it happens at 12:30 on a Saturday night, you know, Sunday morning kind of thing, so then that's Monday, Tuesday. So you've got basically until midnight on the Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, yeah. So anyway, basically, they said it has to be done within 3 calendar days. So I thought, well, there is 3 calendar days because it's happened on the Sunday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I've emailed them on the Tuesday. And what they were getting at was, it doesn't go off when it happens, even though it says report when there's been an incident. It goes off when you pick the passenger up. So I picked the passenger up at 7 minutes to midnight on the Saturday. So they were counting Saturday as a calendar day. So Saturday was day 1, even though the passenger was still in the vehicle. We then went on to calendar day 2, which was the Sunday when I dropped the passenger off at, you know, half an hour later. They were classing that as calendar day 2. And then Monday was the cut-off. So I'd said to them, like, how can I report someone who's been sick when they haven't actually been sick? Because they weren't sick on the Saturday night when I picked them up. They were sick on the Sunday morning when I dropped them off. You know, so they were basically saying that it's took me 2 calendar days to drop a passenger off. So they were trying to get out of it, basically by saying I was a day late, because they were using that 7 minutes on a Saturday as a whole calendar day. So I said, basically, you know, I want to escalate into management because you obviously can't count to 3. So the issue isn't the passenger, it's Uber staff can't count to 3. That's the complaint I want to make. Nothing to do with get me money back. People shouldn't be dealing with our requests as driver requests who can't count to 3, as far as I'm concerned. 10 minutes later, I got a message saying, we've reevaluated it, here's £80, we've added it to your account. So it just goes to show, like, you know, the type of people you're dealing with, like, I'll let you come to your own conclusion. You only ever get replies at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, so what time zone is that in? It all comes across, it's all copy paste answers, and then when they have to deviate from a copy paste answer, it's in broken English. It doesn't make sense. So you could say to them, like, what day is it today? And it's a Monday. They'll start talking about a Friday or something. They've got like no concept of what's actually going on, and it's like, who are these people? So anyway, if someone throws up, Uber will do everything in their power to avoid paying you out. And the 2 times it's happened to me, it's always been a weekend. So I know some people can't be bothered. I've heard horror stories where drivers say, I carry some shaking vac or something, or some baking soda. They throw it straight on to soak it up. They then drive straight to a petrol station and use their vacuum to suck up all the sick, and then carry on driving. And I'm thinking, one, your car's going to stink of sick, so that's bad for you and your health, and all the passengers are going to be getting in thinking, stinks of sick in here. No wonder they're giving, you know, the taxi trade or the private hire trade or whatever a bad name. And then two, why would you go and suck sick up into somebody else's hoover? You know, it just shows you the kind of low life they are. So basically, if when it happens to me on a weekend, the valeter guy doesn't work on a weekend, so it's kind of like there's not much that I can do other than beg for him to come out on the money, because this guy's booked up months in advance, because he does all like the car buffing and the ceramic coatings and all that kind of stuff. So he doesn't mind coming out for me. He came out late on Monday, was even having to use like the outside lights and everything for him to do it, because he knows I use this for obviously Uber and do my own private jobs and stuff. So yeah, it's tricky to get everything. If someone's sick in your car over a weekend, Friday or Saturday night, for you to then get that cleaned, have your invoice and submit that to Uber in time, because they want it within 3 calendar days. And then even then they'll do everything they can to get out of paying you. And then even then, well, the last 2 times it's happened to me, it's cost me far more than they're willing to pay. I think I got £80 this time. Last time I got £90. Both times it's cost me £190. You know, it depends on what level of cleanliness that you are. You know, I do have like OCD, but I know I've spent a lot of money on this, and I don't want me smelling sick. I don't want, you know, my son climbing around in the back and they're sick. So like all these seats all pop out, so I have all the seats out on the drive. They're all steam cleaned, all the inside is all wet vac, it's all steam cleaned. He puts all proper chemicals down to kill odour and, you know, stuff like that. So everything is all steam, so it's like new again. Some drivers might just be happy to go to your local scratch and go, pay them 20 quid or whatever, and for some fella just to wipe it over with a cloth and spray like a little bit of Febreze on it or something. That's not for me. And the type of people who do that are probably people who have just got the cars like on settle or something like that, and it's not their car, so again, they're not bothered, because those cars, I see them get ragged about. They're treated like when people go and hire a car from Enterprise or something. You know, people are flying over speed bumps with them, and yeah, you know, they're doing all sorts because they don't care, because it's not their car. So yeah, so basically it's a bit of a nightmare to get your money back from Uber, but yeah, make sure you just constantly pester them and you will eventually get it back. So yeah, it's a bit of a long intro. I'm gonna go online now, and I will try and keep you posted in the next hour or so. So update time, it has been 2 hours, just come up to 9 o'clock, well just after 9 o'clock. It's been busy to a degree. Just have a quick little scroll back. So first job I had was, where was I? So it was probably about 2 miles away from mine, and it was going to Southport. It was £17 for a 12-mile job. So it was alright, it wasn't too bad. He's given me a £2 tip as well, so I've got £19 for it. I thought it kind of gets me going, and I'll head down towards Southport. And then just as I was dropping him off, a job popped up which was, you know, like half a mile from where this drop was, going back to Ormskirk. It was £18.46 for 9.9 miles. So I thought that's not too bad. So I accepted that, and then as I pulled up, I've missed it again. It was bloody scheduled one. So I turned up and it was 10 to 8, and it said, right, your 10-minute timer now starts. I was like, oh Jesus. I mean, it's obviously not, it's not nothing against the passenger, you know, they've booked something for 8 o'clock and it is what it is, you know. I've missed it. So yeah, like I've done some in the past. I don't do them, basically. I don't book any purposely, but I've done some in the past, and you arrive and then they do come out because like they know you're there, so it's not too bad. But these were just different. Like I pulled up and I was facing the bar that they were in, so they've obviously seen me and they've waited for the full 10 minutes to elapse, and then they've started putting the coats on and came out. So anyway, I took them back to Ormskirk, and then I've just been basically bouncing around Ormskirk for a little bit. I got a £6.6 for 2.5 miles, a £5.18 for 1.8 miles, and then I've just done a £5.54 for 3.6 miles, so it wasn't the greatest. But I'm on just shy of £55, so yeah, I'm on like £27.50 an hour, which isn't too bad. What I've noticed on there was, as I logged off then just to do this, I've been offered 20 jobs, but I've only accepted 5, because that's how bad they were. So when I logged on before, it was almost as though the whole of the northwest was surging, which I never believe. And like I said, not one of them jobs was a surge job, even though everywhere was like bright red. But the jobs were just ridiculous. I took a screenshot of 1 or 2 of them, I think. Or one of them. You know, things like they wanted me to drive 8 miles to Skem, 8.2 miles to do a 3.4 mile job for £7.60. You know, and a lot of the jobs were just like that. They were all either £1 a mile or less than £1 a mile. And I was thinking, but everywhere is surging, and it's a Friday night. The weather is horrendous. They're driving past me on a flat tyre on a brand new Range Rover. Don't know how you would notice you got a completely flat tyre. So yeah, it was just they were rubbish. The jobs were just popping up and popping up and popping up. So it was busy surging in that kind of way. They were popping up, but what you were being offered, it was completely ridiculous doing. A couple of kids running across the road, must be about 8 years old, busy road, and he's just stopped in the middle of the road and started doing press-ups and then jumped up and ran off. And you wonder why you see bunches of flowers at the side of the road. Absolute clowns. So yeah, that's about it. It seems to be quiet, to be honest. Nothing's really been popping up now, so probably going to slowly head down towards like Southport way. It's about 14 minutes from where I am. See if I pick it. I'll cut through Ormskirk because sometimes you'll pick something up for people going down there. Because I'll have to go and jump on the charger anywhere between like 10 and 11. I'll try and aim for about 10 o'clock because that's when the prices of them drop right down. That's like the off-peak tariff. So yeah, I'll be aiming for that, and I'll keep you updated in the next hour or so, let you know how I'm getting on. So, little update. It is 11 o'clock. I've just stopped for a little bit of a charge and something to eat. The last update was about 9 o'clock. Where was we? So, where was I? Finished in Burscough. So I started heading towards Southport because it was empty. It was quiet, I mean. So I was in Burscough, headed back towards Ormskirk. A couple of daft job requests that were miles away, so I ignored them. Headed towards Southport, got into Southport, and then got a little ridiculous £3.75 job. Oh, sorry, it was more. I think it was like £7. Got there, and they didn't turn up. So I got £3.75, which was the cancellation fee. After that, I got a surge job, if you can even class this as a surge, £4.17 for 1.2 miles. How was that a surge? Because the one after it was £4.57 for 1.9 miles, and that was just a normal job. Then I had a £4.25 for 2.3 miles, a £6.20 for 2.9 miles, a £3.73 for 0.9 of a mile, and then I'd done a £7.26 for 3.5 miles. So yeah, you know, they've all been, you know, at least £2 a mile. The one there was like, you know, £3.70 for less than a mile. Yeah, so the jobs, they've just been really slow, few and far between, to be honest. I thought it was going to be a bit busier. I'm on £88, 17p for the 4 hours, so I'm on basically £22 an hour. I think before that I got up to £27.50, I think it was, and it just dropped. Just went really quiet, like I said, around Ormskirk. That's why I headed up here, because they've got a few more bars and restaurants and things like that. But yeah, it just seems dead up here. I've come on charge because I thought, well, even like now when I go back on the app, you know, it's saying the whole of Southport is surging, Formby is all surging, but then, you know, I came off before and it wasn't. You know, there wasn't any jobs, and the jobs that are coming up that they're classing as surge jobs are ridiculous. I think I took some more screenshots here. So I just got into Southport before, and then they're offering me a job back in Burscough, which is Ormskirk. So they wanted me to drive 8.5 miles to do a 1.5 mile job, so 10 miles in total, for £9. Like, I know that there's drivers in Ormskirk because I live there, and I've just been there and I've drove up here, so I don't get why they're not offering them jobs to the other drivers who were there. Why do they want me to drive 8.5 miles to come and pick this customer up? It's ridiculous. This one made me laugh. So I was in Southport. They wanted me to drive 8 miles to, it says Liverpool, it kind of looks kind of like Formby on the map there, L37. So they want me to drive 8 miles, which is apparently 20 minutes, to Formby way, to collect, to then drive another 8.5 miles or another 20 minutes down to Seaforth in Liverpool. You know, so they want me to do what, about 16 miles for £16, 20 pence. Like, I know for a fact, again, that there's Uber drivers in and around Liverpool and Formby. So again, why is it even coming up? I don't know why that job isn't coming up. It's coming up as a match. That's been matched to me. Apparently I'm the most suited driver to that, and they want to send me. It's ridiculous. So again, obviously I didn't do that. Yeah, so they're the type of jobs that have been coming through on a Friday night. Bit rubbish, really. But yeah, other than that, I haven't really done a great deal. So yeah, I'm going to charge up here, have some food. I'll probably be setting off from here at about 12 o'clock, maybe midnight. So I will give you the next update, which will probably be, I don't know, maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, just depends on how busy I am. So I'll catch you in a bit. So it's just after 1 o'clock. I carried on before, pretty much bang on 12. Straight into a little £4.26 for 0.59 of a mile. Then a £6.99 for 3.1 miles. Then a £4.68 for 2.1 miles. £4.43 for 2.4 miles. A £4.53 for 2.5 miles. And then I've just done a £5.30 for 3.6 miles. All the jobs are just really small, tiny little jobs. There's like nothing decent coming up, and I am trying my best to obviously cherry pick, but whilst accepting jobs at the same time. I don't think I've done a single XL job tonight, to be honest. Yeah, it just doesn't seem to be much going on. So up to now I've done 5 hours and I'm on 118 and change. So I'm on about £23.60 an hour, thereabouts. So yeah, it's come up slightly. But yeah, it's just really slow. The jobs are just a little bit crap, to be honest. So I'll carry on milling around here for probably another hour. And it's like all the jobs that are coming up, like this one. They want me to drive 2.8 miles back into Southport to bring a customer 2.5 miles back to probably one street away from where I'm parked up. There's other Uber drivers in the town centre now, for a fact. So why do they want me to do it? It's ridiculous. And this one again, 2.7 miles. But this time to bring them back to probably a street that's just over to my left. I don't get it. But like I said, that's like £1 a mile, and I'm not running there and back for £1 a mile. I can't be bothered. So yeah, that's how the night's going. So I'll update you in a bit. So just turned 2 o'clock. Past hour. I've had them all then. A couple of idiots starting to come out now. So where was me? I had a £5.30 for 1.7 miles. And then had a £5.40 for 2.8 miles. 2 women in the back. I couldn't understand what language they were speaking. It was like a multi-stop, so we'll drop one of them off and we carried on, and then the other one started speaking to me, and she was saying you know, they've been out to celebrate the mate's 41st, and she was like she said, oh yeah, we're a bit of an odd bunch, our group. She said, my friend's Ukrainian and I'm Russian. I was like, bloody hell. I said, bet you that goes down well, doesn't it, at a house party? So she was laughing, and she was like, she went, oh no, she said, everything's always been fine just until like 2020 or whatever it was, when it all started kicking off between obviously Russia and Ukraine. And I was like, all right. I said, you know, do you go to Russia often? And I said, oh, you've not been there for years or something? She was like, oh no. She said, I only came back last week. She said, I've been over there for 2.5 months. She said, the media's portraying it all wrong. It's basically what she was saying is what we're seeing on the news and on Facebook and Instagram and not Instagram, TikTok and all the videos you see, they're not real apparently. So I said, all right, okay, have a nice night. not getting caught up in that. Then had, well, I think that was the job before that. I went to Birkdale. It was a Birkdale not too far away. It was like 1.5 miles, and it was one of the standard ones because I've got an XL. I pull up, and then straight away he sees it. The door opens, and then he's like, "Oh, come on, Billy! Oh, go and get your mate as well, and get your mate's mate and all this." And I said, "Oh, hang on a second, mate." I said, "You've booked an X." I said, "So I can only take 4 passengers." And he's like, "Oh yeah, sound." So next thing I see, like a group of them come over, and you know, some start piling in the back. One's climbing in the front, and then I heard him saying, "Oh yeah, there's 6 seats." And I said to him, "Look, mate," I said, "I've already told you you've booked an X. I'm only taking 4 passengers." So then I think some of them kind of got onto it and then like stopped getting in, and then this other lad still got in the back. So there was 4 in the back and 1 in the front, and he shuts the door, and he's like, "Right, okay, yeah, are we going?" I said, "No." And he said, "Well, why not?" I said, I've said it about 4 or 5 times now. I said, "You've booked an X, so I can only take 4." And he's sitting there, he's trying to be all intimidating, you know, he's trying to be all macho in front of the lads and all that. He's got all like neck and face tattoos, and he's bulking himself up, and he's going, "Well, you know," he said, "it's not our fault." He said, you're the only driver in Southport that has an XL." I said, "Well, that's not my fault." I said, "That's your fault." I said, "You've booked an X knowing that you're not going to fit in, because there's like 6 or 7 of you." I said, "If you want an XL," I said, "book an XL and pay more money." I said, "But you've booked an X." And he's like, "Oh, right, okay." He said, well, can we go then, because there's 4 passengers?" I said, "There's not." And I turned around, I said, "There's 4 in the back." And I said, "There's 1 in the front, there's 5. And he's like, "Yeah, but you've got 6 seats." I said, "I know exactly how many seats I've got." I said, "But you've paid for 4 seats, you haven't paid for 6 seats." I said, "So someone has to get out." "Oh, open the door for me then, open the door for me." Starts moaning, getting out. It's just, honestly, the amount of times I have to put up with it, it's unreal. People will just roll the dice and think, we'll just all bundle in. And it's like, you know full well, if there's 6 years out, you're going to need an XL. Why book an X and sit there with your fingers crossed and think, oh, I hope an XL turns up, so then we can try and bundle our way into it. Idiots. So that was that. Currently on 142, so it's like £23.60 an hour. Yeah, it's gone. It's been ticking over, but some of the jobs are just really daft. I don't know if I took any screenshots of some of the other daft ones that have been coming up. What's this here? 1.1 miles away, going 13 miles to Burscough. It's not too bad. It's like £17.20. Now, if I wanted to go home, that for me probably would have been perfect, because I could have took that, and then I don't live too far away from there, so it would have been taking me home. But it's only 2 o'clock. I reckon there's potentially another 1-2 hours left. So I'm going to see what's happening around Southport, and then I tend to slowly head in towards Ormskirk, because they all kick out from like 2 o'clock onwards, and then you might have about an hour, give or take. It purely depends on the night. I've been down there in the past where I've got like 2 hours out of it, all the stragglers coming out of McDonald's and all the rest of it. And then I've had times where I've headed down there at like 2 o'clock, I've had like one job, and then that's it. It's just completely dead. So yeah, you get to this time now and it is just like a roll of the dice, really. So yeah, I'll stay up here for a bit more, see if anything happens. I have just drove down Lord Street then, and all the Hackneys are all parked up, but normally it's a good indication that means it's gone quiet. But then also the Hackneys just love sitting there anyway. I think even on the day off they just go and sit there, to be honest. It's I'll be flying up and down Lord Street, dropping someone off, go to Birkdale, come back, drop someone else off, and the line of Hackneys is just still there, but you see all the Ubers driving all over the place. So yeah, you have to take that indicator with like a pinch of salt, really. So yeah, I'll give you another update in an hour or so. So it's just after 3 o'clock, still in Ormskirk, and it seems to have slowed right down. So the jobs that keep coming up are just the ones that nobody wants. They just keep kind of pinging up. So from before, where was I? Oh, I was in Southport. I've done a little 374 for 0.7 of a mile, and then headed back in towards Ormskirk. Ran a good few miles obviously to get back here, but then when I got here I took a 783 for 0.9 of a mile, and then I've done a 379 for a 1 mile. So yeah, I've done a great deal in the past hour, just them 3 little jobs. So currently on 157, which works out at around £22.40 an hour. So it is coming down a little bit, the hourly rate. But yeah, it's, the jobs are just rubbish. Like I got offered a one from Ormskirk to Skem. I think it was like £19. So it was like £3-4 a mile, wasn't too bad. So I said, yeah, go on. So I accepted that, but then I got matched to another driver. So I thought I'd carry on waiting then. And then that other driver's obviously cancelled it. And then about a minute later, that same job then pops up, and instead of it being £19, Uber was now offering £16. And I'm thinking, shouldn't they be offering more as like a bit of an incentive? If one driver's already cancelled it, why would you then reduce the price? I've then seen that job come up over and over and over again, and nobody can be bothered for that kind of money running from here right into the bowels of Skem, where you're not going to get another job now in the middle of, you know, Skem at 3 o'clock in the morning basically. So nobody wants to take it. So yeah, I'm going to give it 5-10 minutes max waiting around here, see if anything else pops up. If not, I'll just be heading home. So yeah, if I do any more jobs, I'll give another little update when I get home. If not, then that'll be the final update really of the evening. There's no point me doing an update just to say when I get home. Forgot to mention before, on one of them jobs that I've done in Southport, it was an XL job, and I picked them up, group, they got in. I think they'd been to like a bit of a house party kind of thing. So reverse off, start driving off the estate, and the woman in the back say to the others, "Oh, has anyone told them we're going to such and such an address yet?" So I glanced down at the screen, and it's only a one-stopper. So a couple of seconds later she goes, number 42, such and such address, please. And I was like, yes, sorry, it doesn't work like that. I said, it's whoever's booked the job. I said they've only booked one destination. So I think there was a family, like a mum, dad and 2 kids, and then some other like random woman. And she was like, "Oh, that's such and such has booked it, where you've just picked us up from." I said, "All right." I said, "Well, I can only go where it says on here, unfortunately." I said, "So like you'll have to contact them and ask them to add another stop on." And she's like, "Oh, so what am I supposed to do now?" I felt like saying, "Well, why get in an Uber thinking you're just going to start throwing your address about and you expect me to go and take you home and not get paid for it?" I was like, "I don't know. I honestly don't know." I said, like I've just suggested, you'll have to phone your mate and tell him to add another stop on. That's the only thing I can think of." So I just started heading towards the address that was in there, which was the family's address. So the thing is, the guy who's booked it, he knows how Uber works. Everybody knows how it works. And he's just thought, "Oh well, I'll let them deal with it," because by the looks of it, he was paying for the Uber home. He didn't want to add another stop on because he knows it's going to cost him more money. So he's thinking, "Oh, I'll pass that on to the Uber driver." It's like, you just can't do it. That's like getting on a plane you've paid for an economy ticket and all the first class is empty, and then you turn around and say, "Oh, I'll go and sit over there then because them seats are empty." Well, it doesn't work like that. You haven't paid for it, you can't have it. At the end of the day, if you're getting in an Uber, you want to start making additional stops, you have to put it on. I'm not driving around like some sort of charity minibus dropping everyone off at home. So the guy says anyway, "Oh, is it okay if we stop on the way on our route?" I said, "That's fine, I don't mind stopping. I do that for other people because I'm physically driving down that road." I said, "But I can't deviate from this route." So yeah, anyway, as we weren't too far away from theirs, there was all like the dramatics. She was like, "Oh, I get out and walk and all this, I'm on my own." And then the husband, the husband for the other woman was like, "Oh, I just can't be bothered doing that." It's only a 10-mile job. They're offering £30. It's an XL, multiple stops, going to Skem. I've done it in the past, it's a nightmare. I done one the other day and it was literally like 6 drops, and I was doing it and then to the next one, then to the next one, then to the next one. I thought, this has gone from a half decent job to like the worst job I could have accepted. Yeah, so he was saying like, "Oh yeah, I'll get out with you and then I'll walk you back a bit and then I'll walk back to mine." And it was as though like they were trying to put some like dramatic story on, so I would cave and say, "Oh, go on, I'll take your own, love," and all this. I was like, could care less, not my problem. Like I said, if that would have been me and I would have been in a taxi, but you wouldn't have got in because I would have made sure whoever was booked the Uber had booked it to my address also. So that's her own fault. But then even then, I still would have phoned back and said, "Do us a favour, add another stop on." But she couldn't be bothered doing that. She was seeing it as it's the driver's fault because God knows why. So that's it. What's this one? Skem again. All these Skem jobs are coming up and no one's taking it. That's 6 miles to Skem. 6 miles to pick them up, they're already in Skem. And then 3.6 miles further into Skem. So it's like a 10-mile job. It's come up again now. 9.5 miles, £10.40. So yeah, that's like the 4th or 5th Skem job I've seen come up to slightly different places in Skem, and nobody's taking them. And that's the reason. Once you get in there, you get lost. Even your sat navs get lost in Skem, and there's no coming out of it. I went in there the other day and I was sorry I'd done it. It was a nightmare. So yeah, that's about it. I think I'm going to start heading home and yeah, like I said, if I get a couple of other jobs and I stay out for a bit, I'll give you another little update. If not, then yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.